Thanks very much for coming. My name is Labhras. It's an Irish name. I use all of the vowels, most of the consonants, and it's got a B in the middle just to piss everyone off. I'm really nervous standing up here, if you can't tell. The last time I was this nervous was when I tried to explain to my mother why I had beard rash after coming back from a sleepover. To this day, she won't have Listerine in the house because she thinks I'm allergic to it. As you can tell from my accent, I was brought up really Catholic and full of gay shame. We were brought up so Catholic, don't worry about it, I'm over it now. We were brought up so Catholic that for years I thought the shrugging emoji was let us pray. This was a disaster in group text because I would text in, "What are we doing tonight?" and people would send back, "Let us pray." I thought we were getting really fucked up, so I'd arrive at the venue completely hammered as it was. And vice versa, people would send in bad news, like about their family or their nan or whatever, and I'd send back a shrugging emoji. And people thought I was a prick. We were so holy growing up that my mother got pulled into my sister's school because she wouldn't stop building altars in the locker. The teachers thought she had an altar fetish. But I sort of agreed with her because you can get like quite sexy Jesuses nowadays. We were so holy growing up that for one summer, my dad brought us around the country looking for moving statues. This is a true thing. You can Google. In Ireland in the 90s, thousands of people thought the little statues on the side of the road were moving, like statues of Mary or like a really, really ripped Jesus. And they'd pull up and we'd all get out of the car, we'd all start praying. And we'd be there all day, we'd be praying all day. And then that evening, you go to the next town and someone would be putting you up and everyone would start drinking whiskey inside in the kitchen. So by the end of the night, because it was Ireland, everyone would be fucking locked and all the statues in the house would be moving and they'd all be back the next day praying again. Years later, my brother was talking about this and he said, "Oh yeah, that was me." And we're like, "What do you mean that was you?" And he said, "Oh, I used to shout out, she's waving," when we went to pray. And I was like, "Why were you saying?" He's like, "Oh, I just really wanted a little holy holiday." It's like, "Oh, fair." I'm 2 years sober last month. Cheers, thanks very much. To be honest, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Dating's really hard, so you have to sort of find dates, like think outside the box when you're going looking for dates. Like the other day or a couple of months ago, I was in the STD clinic. I'm STD free, so you can tell your single friends. But the doctor was just my type of guy. He was like a brown, beardy guy. To be honest, if it wasn't for our different outlooks on life, I'd be all over the Taliban. But, Anyway, the doctor, we were talking about a club night that we were both going to that night. And he said, "Oh, can I have your socials?" And I was delighted because I thought, like, "Oh, my life is sorted now. This doctor's after falling for me. He's going to buy me a big house up in Highgate and this is the end of it." I was so delighted with myself that I said it to some young one as we were leaving. And she was like, "Oh, I'm buzzing for you too." Like, we had our whole lives planned like that. And that night I met him out anyway, and he's inside in the smoking garden and he's surrounded by all his friends. And I went up and I said, "How are you? And he introduced me and he went off looking for a cigarette. And I asked the lads then, I was like, "Oh, how do you know your man?" He was like, "Oh, he's our STD doctor. He was checking us last week. The fucker was just going around collecting disease-free gays for a little harem." But because I'm thinking outside the box, I had to join other social groups too. So I joined one, Queers Without Beers, which was a social group in central London. The problem was it was just loads of gays remembering when they used to be good crack. Like East Londoners who've moved to Margate and now they know there's no coming back. I joined Long Strokes, a gay rowing team. The Manhandlers, a gay wrestling team. And the Ball Fingers, which was a gay bowling team. I got so desperate that I joined even medical support groups like the Prick Teasers, which was for gays with botched Botox. And the Nutcrackers were for gays with a peanut allergy, but they wouldn't share any food, so that was a nightmare. I think to find someone in the end, I'm going to have to think of my own one, and I'm going to call it the Altar Toys. It's going to be for gays with a Jesus fetish. That's my time. Thank you very much.